Welcome to All Clear. I'm Travis. This is the podcast where we talk straight with the men and women of the fire service about staying strong, staying healthy, staying sharp, and being ready to stay in the fight for our communities and for ourselves. Now, today we're going to be talking about a topic that sits at basically the crossroads of ethics, culture, technology, society, everything social media. But not just social media as you think about it, but social media and the fire service. So, what's the risk? What's the reward? Where's the line between the two? Well, we're going to talk about that today. There are some good things that come out of social media. Think about it. Social media can be a powerful tool for firefighters and for departments alike when it's used with good intention. Now, we've got platforms now that let us communicate directly with the public. We get the opportunity to show the real face of the job and to be able to connect with future generations of firefighters. Think about recruitment. Let's face it, recruiting has changed. The old methods don't pull the same numbers that they used to. But when young men and women see real firefighters sharing the why behind the job, for example, on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, it resonates. They see purpose, they see grit, and they see real impact. That's how you plant the seed to get a new firefighter. And who knows, a young person that sees a firefighter on Instagram might actually start guiding them as the next generation coming forward in our industry. Now, you can also look at community engagement. Now, community engagement isn't just about Fire Prevention Week anymore. Social media lets us pull back the curtain on our industry. When you post a photo of your crew helping out with a car seat installation or maybe delivering food on a holiday, it reminds people that we're all human and that we care. This builds community trust, and the trust matters before the next big call. So that's what you got to keep in mind. How about fire and life safety education? This is one that's near and dear to my heart. We can drop a 60-second video on something like how to test a smoke alarm, how to properly store lithium ion batteries, or how to safely exit a building, and it reaches thousands of people. Now, that's real prevention work. That's the impact without waiting for the next big event or opportunity to reach out. Social media also allows us to celebrate our culture. Promotions, graduations, firehouse pranks, rookie milestones, all that stuff builds up pride and tradition. And sharing those moments can remind us why we do this work. It brings dignity to our craft. So, yes, there are real benefits to social media, but as you always know, anything with power can burn both ways. Now, there are some dangers, and think about when a post becomes a problem. Let's flip the coin and look at the other side. For every good intentioned post, there's at least a dozen that land a firefighter in hot water or cost the department public trust. Think about these examples. You have operational security, or OPSEC, whatever you want to call it. It sounds dramatic, but it's real. When you post a photo during an active scene, you might be revealing information that's critical. For example, the location of a vulnerable structure. You might be showing a law enforcement situation or a family that hasn't even been notified of the situation that's going down. You don't always know what's in the background of your shot. One harmless post really can derail a fire investigation or put somebody at risk. Also, think about the violations of patient confidentiality. HIPAA just isn't something for paramedics and hospitals. We all have a duty to protect the privacy of the people we serve. Faces, addresses, license plates, even indirect identifiers can violate someone's right to privacy. If someone recognizes their mother's living room in your selfie, that's a problem. Now, think about the damage that it can cause to public perception. Let's say a bystander posts a photo of a fire. You repost that same photo. What you don't notice is that your crew is in the background laughing, drinking water while the structure still burns. Out of context, sure, But as we know, perception is reality to the public, and your department might have to spend quite a few days cleaning up that mess. Now, think about the impacts on crew morale and trust. Posting moments without permission, even something meant to be harmless, can cause a real trust break very quickly. Now, maybe someone on your crew is camera shy. Maybe that photo that caught them looking pretty beat down after a rough call, that's not something they want people to see. Well, just remember, the stuff lives online forever. Once it's out there, you can't pull it back. Finally, we have job security. I've seen firefighters lose jobs over social media posts. One post, one video, the department says it violated their policy or made them look bad, and that's it. And it doesn't matter if your account says views are my own. You wear the patch, you carry the badge, it follows you online. Always be careful about things like that. Now let's talk about ethics. What should never be shared? Well, the job that we have comes with a sacred trust. And when we step into someone's home, into their worst day, we don't just bring gear and skills, we bring confidentiality and we bring respect. But too often that line gets blurred on social media. At Descript Master, we believe it's never too late to share your story. Our beginner-friendly training is specifically designed for passionate creators over the age of 40 who want to harness the power of video and podcasting without the tech headaches. Now, whether you're a firefighter, a first responder, or an educator who's wanting to up your game when it comes to videos, podcasting, and digital media, or you simply have some wisdom you want to share, Descript Mastery gives you the tools and the confidence you need to create professional, quality content that connects. Start telling your story today with Descript Mastery. So let's talk about ethics. One thing that we should never, ever film is a victim. No victim content ever. You wouldn't ever stand over a patient who's in a cardiac arrest and put that on your phone. But somehow people think that posting it 20 minutes after the call is okay or different. Really, it's not. That grief, that trauma is not ours to share. The other thing, don't show off pain. Flipping cars, burned out homes. We're not journalists. We're firefighters. Those are someone's life belongings, someone's family history, and ultimately it might make for dramatic posts, but it costs you your integrity. Also, department drama needs to stay in-house. Training disagreements, internal debates, critiques of leadership, that type of stuff does not belong on social media. You don't need to air your dirty gear on the front lawn. And finally, always get consent. Just because you're proud of the crew doesn't mean they want their face online. If you want to post a shot, ask first. Better yet, tag your PIO, loop in your leadership, keep it clean. Finally, know and follow the policies. If your department has a social media policy, know it, learn it, read it. If they don't, push for one. And until then, lean conservative. The post that you didn't make will not come back to bite you later. Now, how do we use social media correctly? What does proper use look like? How do we share the job in a way that reflects honor without compromising our ethics? Well, here are a few ideas. First of all, focus on education. Post about smoke alarms, sprinkler systems, home escape plans, clean cab concepts, cancer reduction, anything that helps prevent tragedy. That's a mission worth sharing. How about celebrating crew wins? Did someone do a great grab? Did someone graduate from recruit school, hit a milestone? Share it, with permission, of course. Those posts help to strengthen our stations and our culture. Also, be a good ambassador. Whether you realize it or not, you're always representing the profession. So don't post rants, complaints, or controversial takes in uniform. You earned that patch, you honor it. Use social media as a window, not as a mirror. This isn't about building a firefighter influencer brand. It's about pulling back the curtain just enough to show the public that we really are human. Not for likes, not for legacy. We're doing it to show people what we do in our jobs. Ultimately, when in doubt, don't. If you even have to ask yourself, should I post this? The answer is probably no. When in doubt, leave it out. Sleep on it. Ask a trusted officer. Ask your mentor. Let discretion be your compass. Firefighters are held to a higher standard, and that doesn't stop at the bay doors or at the end of your shift. Social media, like fire, can be used to build or to destroy. So before you hit post, ask yourself, does this protect the public? Does this protect my crew? Does this reflect the oath that you took as a firefighter? Because if it doesn't pass any of these tests, leave it out. Leave it at the firehouse. It doesn't belong online. Now, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for this consideration of social media. This is one of those topics that can be controversial at times, but bear these points in mind. Remember, everybody's got a story to tell. We just need to find out how to tell it. Now, if you've got a story or an experience that you'd like to tell us, go to our website, allclearpodcast.com. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Please like, subscribe. We'll catch you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay sharp, and most of all, light your fire within.